creepy, and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
How long does it take for a dog to forget its owner? Dogs are known for their loyalty, and when it comes to forgetting their owners, the bond they form often defies time. The connection between a dog and its owner is deeply emotional, and once formed, it's hard to break. Take the story of Hachiko, a famous Japanese Akita. After his owner, Professor Ueno, passed away unexpectedly, Hachiko continued to wait for him at the Shibuya train station every day for nearly 10 years. In everyday life, dogs remember their owners through scent, voice, and body language. Even if separated for a long time, a dog can still recognize its owner immediately when reunited. Studies suggest that dogs' memories are tied to emotions, which is why the love and care you give them stays with them for life. While dogs may adjust to new homes or caretakers, the imprint of their original owner remains. So when asked how long it takes for a dog to forget its owner, the answer is simple. They never truly do.
Yup, wrong question. The right one is, how long does the owner forget his dog?
I infected these scammers with a virus, and they're gonna freak out. I'm trying to send this picture. There we go. Yes, it got sent to her.
What the f?
Oh! Oh! Yes! The virus was spread across several systems where we could see that they've been stealing money. 10,000, 30,000, 4,800, 10,000, 12,000.
4 million.
Indian rupees. 7 million Indian rupees. We used that virus to get some payback. And here's how it started. If you remember the People's Call Center from last year, we had a lot of great guests, including the world's #1 ethical hacker, Ryan Montgomery.
The man, Ryan Montgomery, is here. I've been learning a lot from him. A smart guy who can take your credit cards with the flick of a wrist.
Well, I won't. And I appreciate that. I'm learning a lot from you, too.
Now, Ryan wanted to jump into the seat while I was live streaming, and he wanted to call some scammers himself. So we got on the phone with a pretend Norton LifeLock scammer, and while he was on the voice changer, messing with them, wasting their time, I was actually trying to connect to this scammer's computer. Let's see if these guys pick up.
Should I try to fake a voice? I can try.
Are you on voice changer?
Sure. Yeah. Test. Okay, so I sound like a woman now, I think.
Thank you for calling Norton LifeLock. This is Albert. How may I help you?
Hey, Albert. I'm looking at an email for Norton LifeLock.
And I believe like you want to continue with this subscription, ma'am, or you want to cancel and
my
claim your money
idiot
back?
husband. He must have signed up for this, and I want it canceled right now.
Okay, I will help you out in that case, ma'am. I believe like you're sitting next to your computer or laptop, so we can get you connected to the cancellation team.
Okay, my husband
just
must
turn
have
on
done
your
this.
computer.
And my computer's on. It's on. I'm looking at the screen. I'm pissed off.
Okay, ma'am. So just open up your Google Chrome.
Okay, I'm on it.
Now type over there, A is in Apple.
So anydesk.com.
.com. Yes, give a click on download now.
It says done.
Okay, open it up. Give a left 2 clicks on it, ma'am.
Okay, so double left, proper click.
Yes, ma'am. Once you open up that, you will see your address number.
Now, once we get that reversal, I can then get their pinpoint location, and we'll use that against them, confront them, and see how they respond.
Okay, now what? Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Congratulations, ma'am. You are successfully connected. You can see the mouse is moving around. Let me generate the form for you, okay?
On my screen or your screen?
On your screen, not my screen.
Okay, well, your screen, it's kind of strange because I see you have some refund request form up. Did something get mixed up in the wires?
No. Hold on a moment. Let me just...
Have you ever had ramen and fries before?
Sorry?
Have you ever had ramen and fries? I used to
This
get them
guy's
in
natural.
Galley.
It's in galley #1.
This guy. I hope you clear out the accounts and return as much as possible to the original people. These guys are the real heroes nowadays.
a moose with his drone when it suddenly paused and started shaking to shed off both of its antlers, and it's incredible to see. He then followed the moose tracks to find the antlers. The guy filming it was so excited knowing how extremely rare this is to witness, saying this is like winning the lottery when it comes to filming wildlife. So excited to keep these for a memory he'll never forget.
Didn't know that was even possible. How long does it take to regrow them?
I'm Doreen. This is my husband, John. We reside in the former Bedford County Jail from 1895.
We originally bought this house because it has 5 bedrooms, wood floors, 7 fireplaces. It was a great opportunity.
Seriously?
Our house is broken up into 2 halves. The front half is a Victorian-style house. The back is this. It's prison cells. We've been working on renovating the facility and fixing it up. There are creaks and sounds that you don't know where it's coming from.
Now, what are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at we live in a jail.
He's laughing sinister too. But hey, I seriously would have made the jail cells Airbnbs or bed and breakfast type of rooms. People would pay for it.
Who were some of the tough guys in Compton?
I'll tell you the toughest guy, the Bully.
No.
That was his nickname, the Bully. And we used to say we would love for the Bully to fight Raymond Watson or Tookie. Now that's a fight I would pay my whole check to see. Bully was a bad dude. Bully was so bad, we'd be shooting dice at school. He'll come with a dice, a 5 and 6, crooked dice. Then he'll make all of us bet against him. Everybody noticed some crooked dice. So he said, he was telling him, he didn't want nobody to bet with him because he wanted to get all our money. So he's shooting dice, he winning every roll, 11, 11, 11, 11. Everybody looking like, then he would say, put your money down. You know, because Bully a bully. So this cat from Carver Park said, hey, Bully, them some crooked dice. And next thing I know, Bully slapped him. And when he slapped him, bust his whole grill.
Wow.
And know what I did? I got next to Bully. Come on, Bully. You ain't gonna hit no more. You know, I'm sucking up. You know, then I was catching the dice. You know, acting like I'm really into the game. And Bully told me, don't touch the motherfucking dice again. All right, cuz. Shoot, Bully, you ain't gonna hit again. You know what I mean? Because he had that fear. Bully was so bad, the Power Rules and the Crips, they wouldn't mess with him. All the bad guys from Power Rule, all the Crips, all the Crip gangs up there, everybody knew he the baddest dude in America.
Where's Bully at now?
Bully dead.
Students
Debo was toughest in Compton.
are sleeping, snoring, and even beating it in classes across the country, with one student even bringing a whole air mattress to class.
No way.
Teachers and professors aren't happy about this new problem at all.
Man, history class. That like watching paint dry. Thank God for technology so I can just snooze and stroke during that time to go to history class.
It's all because of this app called TurboLearn, which allows students to sleep while it automatically takes notes for them based on what the professor is saying.
This is a
Snooze and Stroke? What? Is this for real?
dish made from the cheapest ingredients in Korea, but can you believe it? It sells for $10. What's even more unbelievable is that it's always in high demand. Every morning at dawn, the chef peels all the freshly boiled eggs, then presses them through a metal mesh, crushing them into small pieces. In the same way, the chef mashes steamed potatoes into a smooth puree. Then, all the mashed potatoes and crushed eggs are mixed together, along with a generous amount of chopped onions, carrots, and other vegetables. Next, the chef adds a large amount of sweet cheese and pepper, stirring continuously so that all the ingredients absorb the cheesy aroma and the spiciness of the pepper. The gentle scent of cheese fills the air. Once everything is well mixed, the filling is set aside. Meanwhile, the chef takes out slices of cheap bread, lining them up neatly on the workbench. He then places a large portion of the filling on each slice, closes the sandwich, and gently presses it down. It may look like a simple sandwich, but we all know how rich the filling is. Next, the sandwiches are dipped into a prepared starch mixture, allowing the bread to fully absorb it. After that, a layer of breadcrumbs is added to the surface. Now comes the most crucial step. The sandwiches are fried in hot oil. The outer layer becomes incredibly crispy, with a light, toasty aroma, while the inside oozes with the rich, creamy flavor of cheese. After frying for 3 minutes, the golden brown sandwiches look absolutely delicious, tempting you to take a bite right away. Just cut them into small pieces and enjoy them while they're hot. I bet you'll be more than willing to pay for it. Would you like to give it a try?
Amazing. Maybe we'll make a similar one soon.
DoorDash Driver has been banned from the food delivery company after a viral video caught him spitting at a customer's drink order in Whitby. The video submitted to Now Toronto shows a driver spitting in a booster juice drink just before delivering it on the customer's doorstep. Right after, the customer confronted the driver after seeing the entire act on his camera.
This is for my son, my 2-year-old son. Why would you spit in my drink?
So sorry, sir. The customer, George Boucher, told Now Toronto he even tipped the driver 18% before the incident happened and that he had no prior interaction with the driver. DoorDash Canada told Now Toronto the behavior is completely unacceptable. After the incident, online reports surfaced claiming the driver worked for Uber Eats too. The delivery service told Now Toronto it is aware of the reports and is taking appropriate action. For more on the story, head to nowtoronto.com. But first, let us know in the comments, what would you do in this situation?
He should be charged and jailed. But that's how you first world country handle your deliveries. Here in the third world, everything is wrapped and sealed. Even drinks. The plastic bags are sealed. Sometimes the delivery person takes a picture of the customer holding the items. That's how you do it.
Deadly chemicals that seep into your skin, causing many to become deceased, is being put into millions of children and adult clothes. And this is no accident. People were terrified after South Korean researchers reported alarmingly high levels of deadly chemicals in over 144 Shein, Temu, and AliExpress clothes, with levels 10 to 229 above the legal limit. And once absorbed into the skin, there is no cure. Deadly chemicals like phthalates and lead that, when worn for hours at a time daily, can result in obesity, diabetes, heart issue, premature births, infertility, mutation of the cells, and many more issues that can form within a year, and for some, just months. Reports from Science Directly warns us that once the clothes enter the home, we are in danger, as these chemicals will stay, become airborne, and be breathed in. It can even spread to other clothes if in the same machine, or even contaminate food. The most concerning issues have been found in shoes and jewelry. While they do exist in clothes, it's a bit less.
I always wash my clothes before I wear them.
This is the astonishing moment a woman sprang out of the passenger seat and jumped in front of a car.
Oh my goodness.
Just so her husband could cut into the lane.
We all deserve a wife like that. I mean, not the looks, but dedication. By the way, just let her in. Why the drama?
Rare and dangerous for Johanna Watkins to be exposed to the outside world. Allergic to almost everything imaginable, she's been living in isolation for the last 2.5 years. But today, with her husband Scott by her side, Johanna is bravely making a journey into the unknown. She's moving to the new home that he's built to keep her alive. So extreme are her allergies, every second outdoors risks a life-threatening reaction.
Throw up. It's okay to throw up.
For a fleeting moment, Scott is able to hold his wife in his arms.
I love you with all of my heart. Welcome to your new home, my dear.
The loving husband whose very presence has the potential to kill her. Johanna suffers from an extreme form of a disease called mast cell activation syndrome. Smells, dust, chemicals, food, light, even changes in air pressure can cause her body to attack itself.
What hurts me most as a parent, though, is thinking of Johanna suffering. She can't have any human contact. When her siblings are in there, they have to wear a mask the whole time. They can't reach out and touch her arm like this. And if they do, she'll get sick.
Wow. It's okay to throw up. I love you with all my heart. Welcome to your new home, my dear. That's love right there. Who's cutting onion? Oh my goodness. Thank you, angels. That's crazy.
There's nobody talking about what this hippie just said. Listen super carefully because you're not going to want to miss this.
Elevate your skincare with the power of science. That's all bullshit. Look at my skin. Nourished, glowing. I get sun. I drink clean water. I eat high quality food. I sleep deeply. I prioritize rest and recovery. I nourish my skin with tallow, beef tallow, which is very nourishing to the skin.
A lot of science-backed skincare has chemicals in it that's actually so bad for us, and the side effects are actually terrifying. He said he uses beef tallow, so I did some research on it, and I don't know what's in these cows, but it has all these vitamins in it, and it's supposed to be almost identical to the oils our skin naturally produces. So anyway, I made the switch and it cleared my skin in 3 weeks. I honestly think it worked so quickly and so well for me because it has manuka honey and marigold flower in it too, and that really helps with like acne, scars, and lightening dark spots. If you wanted to try it, you should, and it's called Evil Goods. I just get it off Amazon.
The government does not have
thanks.
enough money for hurricane victims after they spent it all on these weird projects, but Kamala and Biden are denying the allegations despite this clear evidence. It all started when the director of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, held a press conference in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Hundreds were dead, thousands were missing, and millions were without power, but the federal government was nowhere to be found, and people wanted to know why. Mayorkas told reporters that the FEMA program under the Biden-Kamala administration, quote, does not have the funds to help Americans because the agency had already spent most of its money on other things. Upon hearing this, Biden vehemently denied the accusations and called anyone who repeated them a liar. However, the public data on government crisis spending reveals that since 2022, FEMA has allocated $1.4 billion to assist state and local governments on housing migrants, with $640 million spent in 2024 alone. Additionally, tens of billions of dollars have been sent to foreign countries like Ukraine and Israel, but FEMA has only managed to provide a mere $750 to each American affected by Helene from its limited $10 million storm fund.
We did it, Joe. Oh, the $750 is only for people who are low income, and you have to apply it online. Look it up.
Utah State University become the 4th university to forfeit a women's volleyball match, rather than play against a transgender player. Blair Fleming, a senior in their 3rd season at San Jose State, who has been playing women's sports since high school, is now at the center of a lawsuit filed against the NCAA after it was revealed she was born a biological male. More than a dozen female athletes, including her own teammate, are accusing the NCAA of knowingly violating a law that prohibits sex-based discrimination by allowing a transgender player to compete in women's sports.
Why not have transgender sports? Let males compete with males, females with females, and trans with trans. Problem solved.
This is how slot machines scam you. This is what the back of the machine looks like, and I want to focus more on these wheels and these wheels. You would think with slot machines, every single symbol that you see on these wheels, you'd be able to hit. But if you look at the discs in the back, there are blank spaces in between where you can and can't get the symbols. So if I wanted to get this bell, this would be on the very first disc there. So it looks like I can get it, but I can't get the orange or the lemon. I can only get the blueberry, which is next. And conveniently, I just got the triple orange win the last time that I spun this machine. And so how the machine determines if you win or not is one of these 5 prongs has to poke through all of the holes in these discs so that the machine can determine if you've won or not. If you don't win, then all of these get stopped on the sides of these discs. Hence, that's how the machine knows, hey, you didn't win. You lose. Each one of these has its own win associated with it. The very front one, this one is for your cherry wins. The next one, oranges. Then you got blueberries, bells, which is that second to last one, and the very, very last one back there. That is for the jackpot.
So casinos scam and take your money? No way.
Away. Don't come any closer. Coconut.
Coconut.
Please just go away. Oh my god!
Coconut is not here.
Ginger, no. No, Ginger. You got to go home. You got to get in. Girl, stop. No. I'm going to turn you this way.
I want Ginger.
Don't be trying to fight. Ginger, what is you doing?
All I can hear is, wait, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Breaking news, we said that this would get worse, and today there is literally a mass exodus happening in Lebanon right now of people attempting to escape the bombs being dropped by Israel. This is after Netanyahu last night released a video addressing Lebanese citizens saying this.
Now, starting this morning, the IDF has warned you to get out of harm's way. I urge you, take this warning seriously. Don't let Hezbollah endanger your lives and the lives of your loved ones. Don't let Hezbollah endanger Lebanon. Please, get out of harm's way now. Once our operation is finished, you can come back safely to your homes.
Once our operation is complete, you can return safely to your homes. That is the message right now. Of course, that is, if they are still there to return home to. As bombs rain down, children are cramming onto parents' laps, suitcases are being tied onto car roofs, highways north are gridlocked, and so far on those Hezbollah targets, the death toll has risen to 492 and the wounded are 1,500. And I've said this in the past, an all-out war between Hezbollah and Israel could incur devastating civilian deaths because a lot of those Hezbollah targets in Lebanon are very much built within civilian infrastructure. Everyone right now, in all of these countries, their leaders are saying, we do not want this to turn to all-out war. Yet today marks the deadliest day in their conflict for almost 20 years. I'll keep you guys updated.
Hezbollah has been a parasite in Lebanon for decades. Lebanon used to be a great country before they letting in Palestinian refugees 25 years ago. And they become Hezbollah.
I stumbled across 304 TikTok, and if you don't know what a 304 is, just look it up. But when I first stumbled across it, I thought it was like a zip code, like an area that people were from. Like, you know, when people be like, oh, I'm from New York, or like Miami, I'm from the 305. I thought it was like a zip code, like a county of people. And the TikToks be starting mad regular. It'd be like, get ready with me as a 304, clean my room with me as a 304, spend a day with me as a 304. And a couple of girls' videos that I was watching, they were very demure, very cutesy, they were very nice. Like, you would have never thought like they did what they was doing. There's even one girl on here that be giving hygiene advice, and sometimes I be looking at the comments and people be trying to be mad rude, talking about, oh, how can you give hygiene advice? But it's like, I feel like they would give the best hygiene advice because they constantly gotta get themselves, you know, together and clean and ready. So I feel like, why wouldn't they? People to show that you really can learn something new every day on TikTok.
Wait until you hit the 304 UKTT, the UK version.
First thing Grandma do in the morning, before we leave out to go to the market, Grandma would do something like this. Give everybody a shot of noni juice. May I show you what she did after this? She hand everybody one of these something there. So what I realize now today, after observing the science of all of this is my soap, inner body soap. Noni juice. I scrub out the system. And she give me first thing in the morning, take me inner body soap. Woo! And this noni juice here, boy. Boy, needles and pins. This is inner acupuncture. The thing I clean you out. It rips stuff out of the system. And then Grandma hand you one of these things then. One of these young coconut water. She said, boy, wash your heart out.
Oh, man.
So this is the shower water. The inner shower water. So this is how we start our day every morning in Grandma's house. Grandma was giving us an inner shower every morning.
These eyes are amazingly beautiful. Reminds me of my late Papa's eyes.
Donald Trump just authorized a GoFundMe account for the Americans that have been devastated by Hurricane Helene, setting the goal of $1 million. And within 45 minutes, it reached $900,000 with some huge contributions coming in from some big names. Dana White contributed $100,000. Dan Newland contributed $100,000. Bass Pro Shops contributed $100,000. Kid Rock donated $20,000. And former U.S. Senator of Georgia, Florida, Kelly Loeffler, made a massive donation of $500,000. There are still hundreds of thousands of people without power. There are hundreds of people still missing, and rescuers are having an incredibly difficult time making rescues because roads are completely demolished. Independent journalists on the ground are saying that the damages are worse than Hurricane Katrina and that there is little to no federal aid. Also, the mainstream media has been completely silent. I'm happy that Donald Trump was able to get some much needed funding to the people that have been devastated by Hurricane Helene. As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this.
There was a guy out of South Carolina helping save people with his helicopter, and he was told by one of the fire chief to leave and not help or he would be arrested.
Everyone needs to know what is happening to this 23-year-old girl right now. Her name is Alexis Loren, and in just the past few days, she went from this to this, and no one really knows why. However, there is a fierce debate going on right now because of it. According to her family, she suffers from a rare blood condition called PNH, which causes your immune system to attack your red blood cells. The fundraiser for Alexis said that to give her further care for PNH, doctors said that she needed the tetanus, pneumococcal, and meningitis vaccine because the treatment for PNH makes you high risk for those conditions. They go on to claim that within 10 minutes of these vaccines, Alexis went temporarily blind in both eyes, had a locked jaw, she began vomiting, and then the swelling began, which you can see here. Her family believe that this bruising and swelling is due to the vaccines, but others are saying that that's impossible and it's much more likely a consequence of the underlying PNH. But no matter the cause of the situation, we should all hope that she recovers as quickly as possible, and of course, I'll keep you guys updated.
I pray for her quick and complete healing in Jesus' name.
This is your steering wheel of the future. Look at this. A Joule-inspired car. Wait for it. Ready? Look at the floor of your car. It is one big digital screen all the way from the front to the back. And as you can see, there is no steering wheel, right? So this, as I said, is your new steering wheel. Let's go in. I'll show you how it works. It feels weird standing on a TV screen, basically, but that's what it's designed for. All right, now you put this here. Okay, that's its little holding position. Look how everything lines up. That is so cool. Now, this, if you want to go somewhere, you position it here, okay? You drive it forward. Look at this. It tells the car that you're ready for it to take you to your destination.
No
Check
way.
this out, guys. Watch what happens. The car opens up to give you a hug, to welcome you in. This is the brand new Model L100 from Lincoln.
These people always say it's future car and then proceed show us the car that won't survive a pothole.
Asheville, North Carolina, people are reporting nonstop offers to sell their property for cash. At the same time, there's only one way in and one way out, and nobody's allowed to move. On top of that, trucks carrying aid and supplies are getting their tires slashed so they can't even get through. I mean, it's getting real, really fast. But that sounds very familiar. I mean, look at what happened in Maui. Residents there were pressured to sell their land after the fires, and now Asheville is going through the same twisted playbook. Why? Because North Carolina isn't just sitting on regular land. No, it's sitting on gold.
Wow.
The richest supply of lithium in the world for batteries and the purest quartz for the 530 billion microchip industry. And all of that, it's right under the area being hit. Residents are being asked to sell their properties, aid is being blocked, and the whole situation reeks of something
crazy.
bigger than a natural disaster, just based on the evidence that we've seen. And just like in Maui, people are caught in the middle of a mess that feels far too deliberate.
Start to think those people who talk about man-made storms might be on to something.
Not believe what Lindsey Graham, U.S. Senator from South Carolina, had to say about the devastation of Hurricane Helene when he was asked about it on Fox News.
You know, I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. I hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. Our friends in Israel are surrounded by people that want to kill them, destroy them, a second Holocaust in the making.
Oh, but Israel, like, is he a member of the Knesset or the U.S. Congress? Based on the amount of money he gets from AIPAC, over $1 million, you might have your answer. But let's just also put this thing in numbers so you can get a sense of who the U.S. government cares about. Kamala Harris announced that the federal government will be providing $750 for the victims of Hurricane Helene. Now, this past year alone, the U.S. has given over $33.2 billion to Israel. So that's $750 for Americans whose house and livelihoods have been destroyed, and $33 billion for war in Israel. Divide that by their population, 9.5 million, that's $3,500 per Israeli, meaning that for the U.S. government, people like Lindsey Graham, they value Israeli lives 5 times more than American.
They do not care about the American people. Oh, by the way, $750 per household, not per person.
Want something that really blows your mind?
Yeah.
If you look at Genesis chapter 1, it's so deep, bro. For example, he says, you shall have dominion over the fish of the sea and the fowl of the air. And then he says, every creepeth thing. People would always ask, like, why did God say specifically those animals? Why fish of the sea and fowl of the air? When I read in context, especially in the Hebrew Aramaic, you can see that fish and birds have something that's really different and unique than other animals. They have 2 birds. So they'll have the egg, and then the bird will crack and come out. Fish is caviar, and then they'll swim out. Human beings need 2 birds too. We're born once, and then we're reborn in the spirit.
Also, birds and fish are both made from water as well.
True.
And aren't we made new with water?
Sure.
Baptism.
Yeah. And then birds, what's beautiful about them is they can defy gravity, meaning they can go against the flow. Fish can swim upstream, also go against the flow. And when we're born again, we can go against the flow.
Amen.
So that's why he said.
That's bars. Mic drop, dude.
My mind blown away. Never thought of it like that. Johnny Chang is the man. He walks so strong for Jesus. I love it.
If you've got a lot of worms, if you're on a fast and you're fasting and you're on a diet and you get a headache, you got the headache because the worms are all peeing, trying to get you to eat something else. They're trying to make you sick so you'll get off of what you're doing and start eating. So you take some arginine and orthodine, in a matter of 20 minutes, if the headache's gone, you've neutralized the worm urine and you know that you're loaded. Children that have little tiny pimples on the backs of their arms or little tiny pimples here on the edges of their cheeks have 5 varieties of critters in them. 5 varieties. It's time to deworm and it's time to get them out. Now what I found out is that vibration and frequency is everything. It is literally everything. If you take an aspirin, it changes the way you vibrate. And so it blocks the nerves so that you can't feel pain. If you take deworming programs, you change your vibration, and you change your vibration so dramatically that the worms and parasites either have to get out of you, this is no longer a good home, or they die in you, and then your lungs and your liver.
I'm currently detoxing parasites with a 14 days herbal cleanse. I do it every 6 months.
This fake reality that we're free. I mean, when people say slavery ended whatever years ago, I always go, no, slavery ended, I count Jim Crow as part of slavery.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, slavery ended in 1975. The playing field's not equal. 75.
The thing
10 years after my birth.
Yeah. You go,
and I'm not exaggerating. You have sadistic captors.
Yeah.
You ever crack open a Jim Crow book?
Not really.
They're really thick. And the amount of laws just walking down the street and and you're walking, but if a white woman's walking your way, you have to jump, you have to be in the gutter. There's a ton of rules about...
That's crazy.
You know, how much bread you can buy. It's ridiculous how intricate it was.
Yeah.
Like, I hate all civil rights movies.
What?
Don't get me wrong, I applaud the effort.
Right.
They only show the back of the bus and the lunch counter. They actually make racism look very, like, fixable. They don't really get into how in the 40s and 50s, like, white men would just walk in your house and take your food. You know? Like, what do you think would happen during the Depression? when people are hungry.
Oh,
and
no,
white people are hungry. And like,
What
oh,
happened?
there's black people cooking on that side of town. What do you think would happen? They would walk in your house and take your
Yeah, it's
shit.
like a predator-prey relationship.
It's a predator-prey relationship. What do you think white guys, what do you think when it was time, they were raping white women? No, they would go and rape women they could actually, without going to jail for. Okay? Or sexual assault, just like, you know, guys and all that shit. You know, Jim Crow is so much dirtier than any movie ever shows.
It's insidious. It's in every single act and interaction.
Just the amount of rules that existed. My mother used to get her teeth taken out at the vet.
Yeah.
Because you weren't allowed to go to the dentist. Like no movie shows you that.
Man, Rock should get with Spike and do a documentary or movie about it.
Do you know that Frankenstein, the vampire and ghost are right in the same night? It was 1816 and the organizer from this event was Lord Byron. And Lord Byron is a little bit the Puff Daddy from 1800. He was organized parties, spiritual parties, sexual parties, swingers parties. Lord Byron was the contractor of the region director from the Time Watchers. He was the Tony Montola from his time. So Lord Byron organized a contract with the devil. So he invited 4 persons to come over. He invited Mary Shelley, the author from Frankenstein, her husband Percy Shelley, Claire Clement, she was the medium, and the Dr. Polidori. With these 4 persons, Lord Byron will do the ritual. He invited the 4 candidates on the lake from Genève in Switzerland. In an old castle they come all together. The evening begins first very normal, with a little dinner. He proposed on his 4 guests to do a challenge that evening. And he say from listening, let's evocate a genie of a demon that going to bring us the knowledge, inspiration to write a gothic story. And each person needs to write the full story in one night. So each person go to a different room and go to provocate or evocate the demon in question to give the inspiration for his story. And you cannot believe it, on that night they write the 3 famous stories: Frankenstein, the vampire and ghost. Mary Shelley have there the inspiration that night for the story from Frankenstein. The Dr. Pardoli, he write for the first time the story of the vampire. This story is taken later over by Bram Stoker to write Dracula. And Percy Shelley write that evening the story from Ghost. So on that night, the 3 famous Gothic stories are right in 1816 in one night.
I believe it because, since the beginning, the devil is inspiring creativity, music, and art.
Number 1 fattening ingredient in the world is not sugar, it's not fat. Can you guess what it is? They've been using this for decades to make mice obese. It's an ingredient that alters your hypothalamus that makes you keep eating and eating and eating. It's classified as a flavor enhancer, making the food taste way better than it is. It has huge amounts of hidden sodium that when you wake up, your ankles are going to feel swollen. And this ingredient, which I'm recommending to stay away from, is called MSG.
Asians have been using MSG for decades, and we still have longer life expectancy rate than the world average.
See exactly why our government does not like TikTok, because if it was not for TikTok, I would have hardly any idea how devastating the hurricane was to North Carolina, Georgia, all these, landlocked areas. It is crazy to me, the boots on the ground footage that you can see on TikTok that you will find nowhere else. Like, no wonder they don't want us to be this connected, because you can see just the American spirit so live and well. My husband watches YouTube like it's TV. He really doesn't watch TV, but we have some YouTubers we always keep up with. And I feel like once you make it on YouTube, they all get helicopters, which is like good for them. But so many of them are flying out there, rescuing people, delivering supplies. You just see regular everyday Americans pulling together because your government will not help you when you're in need, as we find out time and time again. And it is overwhelming. It's not ever going to be enough. It's going to be so long before those areas see any normalcy, and it is heartbreaking to see. But at the same time, seeing like just red-blooded Americans pulling together to help each other, of course they don't want us to know that this is going on.
Yeah.
But can't stop.
They tried to ban it right after Maui.
All the big brands are going to kill me for this one, but you can now use AI to replace any item of clothing on your body using this free website. Simply drag in a photo of yourself, and then you can upload an image of the item of clothing that you want to put into the photo. It doesn't have to be an e-commerce photo, it could just be someone wearing that t-shirt, for example. Then hit the run button. It will now apply the lighting and the shadows perfectly onto your image and also replace it without any need or skill of Photoshop. You don't have to use generative fill and get those wonky results. So if you want this free tool, simply write in AI in the comments and I'll send it to you.
I'm wearing Gucci all year long, baby.
Vidimo sve veća i veća voda dolazi. Međutim, odjednom je počelo nositi šupu i garažu i auto i psa, sve je odnio, tako da rekuš da...
Crazy how this is happening in so many places at the same time.
I'm really disturbed with what AI has done to my image.
What?
I was meant to be a cake.
No.
So I made this in Pika Art. Let me know if you want me to do a tutorial on this so that you can blow yourself up as well.
Tutorial, please. This is awesome.
You know what's the worst meal that's clogged more arteries than any other meal? If you're guessing fast food, hamburgers, French fries, those are really bad too, but you'd be wrong. If you're guessing donuts and desserts, you might be getting closer, but those aren't a meal. And the worst meal that clogs arteries is a breakfast. It's been consumed for decades, and people still think it's healthy. I'm talking about cereal. Grains overall, and especially ultra-processed grains and cereal, have been clogging arteries for years, decades, mainly because the carbs in them increase insulin resistance and cause cardiovascular inflammation. Would you like to know more? Check out our video. The link is in the...
I haven't been eating breakfast for more than 2 years now. I eat whatever I want between the hour of 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. That's it.
It is clear that the government is not playing nice with Sean P. Diddy Combs. They turned down his offer to make a $50 million bond. He's locked up for sex trafficking and racketeering. Typically, the only charge you will not get a bond for is unaliving somebody. Let's get to the main point of this video. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of comments about Puff and his association with underage kids. People are associating him with Jeffrey Epstein. Puff's criminal indictment does not involve one underage person. Let me say that again. Puff's indictment, what he is locked up for, does not involve a single minor. But people are beginning to associate him with that type of activity. Why is that? Rumors and allegations on the internet. Rumors and allegations do not suffice in a criminal proceeding. You have to have evidence to prove the claim. Back to my original point when I said that the government is not playing nice with Puff. If there was a single piece of evidence that they obtained that connects him to any underage person, he would definitely be charged with it. And being that he is not, all the tapes and evidence that they garnered from raiding his residences, nothing was there to associate him with that. What moves the internet is salacious rumors and allegations. What moves a criminal proceeding? Facts and evidence. For whatever reason, some of y'all want to believe that he was involved with underage kids, but at the moment, that is not facts of the matter. So stop being disrespectful of underage people who were victims of predators because you want to believe some salacious rumor or allegations on the internet. If the federal government had any evidence connecting him to that type of activity, you wouldn't have never heard about the 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Because that's all that press conference would have been about. To surmise this, if Puff was locked up for dealing with underage kids and the government had evidence, he would definitely be locked up for that. But he is not. So what y'all are doing is propagating a story that isn't even there, and that is completely disrespectful to the real victims on this case. Y'all are not talking about them, you are talking about some phantom victims that the government doesn't even have.
It's an evolving case. They are building.
50 Cent is saying that Jay-Z and Beyonce have fled the coop. They are nowhere to be found. Even went as far as putting this image of Jay-Z on a milk carton asking if anybody has seen him. So 50 Cent is saying it. Cat Williams has been saying it for the longest of time. Basically, we're all just waiting for evidence against Jay-Z to come out associated with the Diddy situation. Jay-Z and Beyonce already have clouds of scandals surrounding them. Starting from Blue Ivy, whose daughter is she? Is she Kathy's? Is she Beyonce's? What's going on with that? I just posted a breaking news video where I just figured out that Beyonce and Jennifer Lopez, one with Jay-Z and one with Diddy at the time, replaced two queens. One, Aaliyah, queen of R&B, and J-Lo replaced Selena. Let's do the math together. These two men, these people, known for doing whatever they want, how they want, willing to do anything to get what they want, coincidentally replaced two top singers that both coincidentally and tragically passed away in weird airplane crashes. 'Cause that's not suspicious at all.
What are you talking about?
I'm pretty sure Beyonce and Jay-Z have fled the coop too. I think 50 Cent is not kidding. I think he's absolutely spot on. And if you want to know all about the Diddy, Jay-Z, Beyonce, J-Lo, Aaliyah, and Selena situation, I'm going to mention my main account where I just posted the breaking news video. Shit's hitting the fan from all directions.
Yo, I thought Selena was murdered by the president of her fan club. You know, Jay played her in a movie.
Speaking of terrifying, let's talk about
J-Lo.
the TikTok account, Nutter Butter.
Have you guys seen this?
No.
You know Nutter Butters, right? The
Yes.
little yeah, dude.
Yes.
Someone said you got to go look up the Nutter Butter TikTok, and I was like, what could it possibly be?
Here we go. Hold
It's
on.
terrifying.
It's just weird.
What's wrong, sweetheart?
Oh my gosh.
Dude, no. Isn't that weird? It's every video, dude.
That's for Nutter Butter.
Every video is this extremely rare type of humor that just
that's
because the thing is like
very rare type.
Is
of
that
humor.
how it's a creative that like I don't even
I mean,
understand.
I laughed at it because it's that obscure,
random.
Dude,
So you know older people hate that stuff though. Like that can't make any
but
sense at all.
They're already buying Nutter Butters because they love Nutter Butters.
Yeah,
exactly. So
revamp
now
it to
all
this
these young
culture.
kids are like, I don't want a Nutter Butter. Now I do
Now I
because
do.
they're from hell.
Don't go anywhere because we still have fire clips after fire clips back to back.
Wow. Pastor Wilkes chasing our history. Look at this. With a cage, steel frame, bars on it. Let me ask you a question. As we look in here, as far as you can see, look back. I can see all the way down in there because I'm here. I'm Pastor Wilkes of Chasing Our History. I am at the Thomas Jefferson Plantation, the third president of the United States of America and one of the founding fathers. This leads all the way back to where the slaves worked in the cellar. Would it be a stretch to say this could be a place of punishment? Thomas Jefferson had some of the harshest punishment for a slave that they felt that was rebelling. Would it be safe to say again that this is a place of punishment? I've been on many plantations, and it would fit the identity of places where slaves would be punished. Look at it. Look at this. Look at that. And above him would be Thomas Jefferson's mansion that the slaves actually built, still standing today. Pastor Wilkes of Chasing Our History. Be blessed.
Thank you for educating. I know it cannot be easy for you to go to these places.
Did you know that there's a secret city underneath Seattle? I went and toured it over the weekend, and I'm going to tell you everything I learned. The original city of Seattle is underneath the Seattle that we know now. It was founded in 1851, and they had a major problem: drainage. I mean, they had life preservers on every corner because you could literally drown just crossing the street. So after this huge fire basically burned down the entire city in 1889, the engineers had a solution to this problem: rebuild the city on top of itself. Using mining techniques like hydraulic sluicing, they literally rebuilt the city of Seattle 1 or 2 stories above the original storefronts. And they didn't just fill in the ground underneath, they reinforced it with brick walls and arches and left all of the original storefronts that are still there to this day. If you visited Seattle, you've probably noticed these skylights on the sidewalks, and these were meant to provide natural sunlight to the underground. So back then, during the day, these were normal businesses, and then at night, the original storefronts thrived. It became extremely easy to conceal crime underground, especially because all of the police and politicians were in on it and cashing out. So things like prostitution and gambling and speakeasies during Prohibition thrived up until around the 1970s, which was not that long ago. This was the start of advanced urban planning that made Seattle one of the most highly engineered cities in the United States, and one of the most corrupt and crime.
There's stores, and you are able to walk under the streets. I love this kind of tour. Maybe I'll go one day.
Arabs conquered day. Should we stick with tradition or should we jump on Islam? You also had Africa's first major refugee problems, because the early North Africans that used to live in Egypt don't. The ones that used to live in Libya don't. The ones that used to live in what is today Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia, they don't. They moved south. And this is why black people in Africa live south of the Sahara. An African queen from Mauritania called Dahia El Kahina tried to stop the Arab invasions, and she was brave and she fought back, but ultimately she was killed in battle, and the Arabs conquered North Africa.
King Mansa Musa, he's one of the world-known richest king in the world.
You know that you can make natural skincare using aloe vera. Aloe vera, called by the Egyptians the plant of immortality, helps the skin retain the moisture without leaving a greasy feel. It contains over 75 beneficial compounds. It can promote hair growth and reduce dental plaques. Scoop out the inner gel and blend it until smooth. Leave it on side and combine beeswax or soy wax in a jar with olive oil. Melt it in a double boiler, add your blended aloe gel and mix until fully incorporated. Follow for more tips.
Aloe vera grows everywhere in my area.
You've heard the news. There's a demon who promises riches and wisdom. Intrigued? In the realm of the occult, Boon stands out. Known as the demon of riches and wisdom, Boon is said to bring wealth, eloquence, and knowledge to those who dare summon him. From the ancient texts of Ars Goetia, Boon is portrayed as a dragon with 3 heads, one like a dog, another like a griffin, and the third a man. Not your average demon, right? But Boon isn't just about amassing gold and silver. He's a tutor in the dark arts of persuasion and eloquence. Imagine having the power to sway minds and control conversations. Summoning Boon, though, is not for the faint-hearted. It requires precise rituals, offerings, and a bold spirit. Many say he speaks in a deep, resonant voice, offering secrets of the universe. So if you're daring enough to venture into the shadows, Boon might just be your guide to untold riches and profound wisdom. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Fancy a chat with Boon yet? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, stay curious.
Nobody's talking about the consequences.
Here's how I capture 5,750 gallons of rainwater on my property. And no, it is not illegal. Every time I talk about rain capture, someone always comments that it's illegal, and it's not in any of the 50 states, although it is heavily restricted in some. Sorry, Colorado. Anyways, I first had to install gutters on my roof to capture the rain. On a 1,000 square foot roof, an inch of rain gives you about 600 gallons of water. Then I installed a leaf filter to prevent debris, and a first flush filter to capture the dirt from the roof when it first rains. Then the rainwater falls through this pipe under the ground and drops into my 5,000 gallon tank. I installed one on every part of my house with a roof, even my garden shed, and I use this water during the dry months to give my garden the drink it needs.
America, why would collecting rain be illegal? Please drop a comment.
See, no one goes in here because obviously it's not halal, innit? How are you opening a restaurant in London and not have a halal food? That's why you don't get enough customers. Compared to Tim Hortons, which got halal chicken, and guess what? It is packed. So let's go and check out right now. See, I'm telling you, it's not the same. Get halal food so people can buy.
I avoid everywhere that sells halal food. They pray to food to the moon god.
Americans are really smart. They just cut a hole in the roof and put a clear glass ball over it to save on electricity costs all year round. How does this work? This glass ball is actually called solar tube. Its job is to collect sunlight and turn it into indoor lighting. Once the system is connected, a dark room instantly becomes bright. So what happens to the sunlight from outside to inside? First, this spherical can refract light from all directions and focus it together. Then the dome is connected to a tube. The inside of this tube is coated with a reflective metal glaze with a reflectivity of 99.7%. Sunlight bounces off the surface many times until it reaches indoors. At the exit of the tube, there's a diffuser, which spreads the concentrated light in all directions inside the room. This daylighting system doesn't use any electricity at all, yet constantly provides indoor lighting. Somebody might ask, what happens at night? No worries. The system has built-in solar panels that store energy from the sun during the day and use it at night. With this setup, you can achieve zero energy consumption.
Just call it Windows.
Okay, guys, do I have a story for you? So, as you can see, I'm not at the studio right now. I have decided to travel to London today because I thought it'd be a funny idea to turn up, since we're at, war and all, to turn up to Daily Mail's headquarters and start giving out a bunch of News Daddy keychains, right? And so I Google where their headquarters is. Google tells me it's this building right here. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's turn up there. When I get there, this place is boarded up. It is shut down. Lights are off. It's got like tubes hanging out the windows, scaffolding in the buildings. I'm like, what is going on? It started as a joke, but now I'm thinking, hold up. Maybe Kim really is behind the Daily Mail account. And so we're kind of stood there like, what do we do now? Like, we've come all this way. And so we're talking, we're standing on the street opposite, looking at the building. And then I see this security guard, this huge security guard, right? Brother must have been at least 7 foot. And he keeps on looking over and giving us eyes, like, he's talking to someone, then he'll look over. I'm thinking, okay, what the hell? So we talk about what to do. And just as we were about to leave and call it a day, I was like, you know what? I've come too far just to come to this far. Shout out Kim K. And I was like, I'm going to go speak to him. So I go over and I'm like, yo, man, do you know where these people have gone, the businesses? Like, when did it shut down? And he was like, honestly, don't know when and where they've gone, but they shut down about a month ago. And I was like, okay. And he's like, why? Like, are you trying to make news? Making news? And I was like, oh, no, I'm just a content creator. Because I thought maybe we're in the journalistic hub right here. And this is what journalists do, you know? And I was like, no, I'm just a content creator. And he's like, yeah, I know. I watch you. And I was like, okay, right. Here we go. So I thought, now I can tell him the full details while I'm actually here. So I tell him, you know, I'm trying to kind of get to Daily Mail. And he's like, Daily Mail is actually in this building, opposite, like they've always been here. So obviously, like, the Google's thing is wrong. And I'm like, oh, but then he says, the only way that you're going to get in there is if you actually speak to them and you get led up through the elevator. And I don't think we're on speaking terms at the minute. But then he says this, and I'm not kidding, you cannot make this up. He says, but I don't really like Daily Mail. And he gives some details as to why, which I'm not going to make public.
Come on.
And I watch you. And the only place I go out is I watch. I'm not kidding. We're having this conversation outside of Daily Mail right now. And you got to understand how happy that made my heart in that moment. Because at the end of the day, by the time you're watching this, Daily Mail has probably overtaken. But that right there, that's all I care about at this point. So Daily Mail, I know you're watching this. I know you're watching this. And we may not have stormed your castle today. But just know, we have soldiers and supporters right outside your front door.
You're getting him in trouble now.
At the end of the day, Daily Mail, all I want to say is congratulations. You know, it's all love. It's all love. And I know that they have a very hardworking team behind running their account. And they deserve a well done. They deserve a well done. And that's all we need. Don't expect anything to change. In fact, expect things to get a lot crazier. Because it's just lit in a fire under the News Daddy empire.
Bro is declaring war on Daily Mail.
I saw a video today of this man at like a press conference kind of thing, and he was pretty high ranked in the Air Force. He was some sort of like electrical engineer. He was brought into this group for NASA. There was something going on with their lunar satellite. It like wasn't receiving. He walked into this room and there were scientists from all over the world. And he's like, this is strange. And then he was debriefed by this one guy, and he's like, these are pictures that we have from the dark side of the moon. There's a base camp on the dark side of the moon. They were showing pictures of all these buildings. He said it's top secret.
That's weird.
Saying they looked alien-like.
Oh.
That were to be true, that would change everything.
It's on the dark side of the moon, so it couldn't be observed from the light side of the moon.
Could it be humans? It's gotta be.
Maybe.
It's gotta be.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of like, what does that mean?
I don't know.
Who knows? I thought the moon was made of cheese.
It's all news to me.
Wait a second, the moon's not made of cheese? There's an alien base camp on there?
Step back. Forget about the camp. It's not made of cheese.
Should the ex-wife of a man who won $273 million in the lottery get some of the jackpot? After all, during their 15-year marriage, she supported him because he didn't have a steady job. Well, now the lottery winner's ex is speaking out in an exclusive interview with our Les Trent.
She's the just-divorced wife whose ex-husband won $273 million in the lottery. Mike Mursky never had a steady job in their 15-year marriage.
We had a dog. He took care of the dog.
And when they divorced 5 months ago, she was ordered to pay him alimony.
What?
Now, at age 53, this regular Joe is mega rich, leading to all sorts of debate.
What's the right thing he should do? He should give his wife 20% after. At least 20?
20, huh?
15
I
years,
agree.
or at least 15% a year.
I'm going to go with half.
Now, in this exclusive interview, we're hearing from Eileen for the first time. And she tells Inside Edition she doesn't want a penny of his winnings.
Your ex-husband won over $270 million. You were the breadwinner when you were married. You think you're entitled to any of that?
I don't want anybody to misconstrue anything that I'm coming after him, because I've heard this from numerous places that I'm coming after him. I'm taking him back to court. I want part of his lottery winnings. I don't.
She does, however, want the alimony payments to come to a stop.
The only thing that I would like to see is obviously termination of spousal support.
What was your first reaction?
I had already seen that somebody had purchased a ticket at that store, and I thought there's no way it could be him, and sure enough it was. I was shocked.
Eileen says the lottery jackpot doesn't change the way she feels about Mike. The marriage did not end on a happy note.
Now that you have money, it doesn't mean that I would want to come back.
Mike reacted this way.
$270 million does not make me appealing to her. That's what she said in the New York Post interview.
And do you believe her?
I don't care.
Don't care.
She didn't have a chance of getting back with me, and I don't want her back.
Come on, bro. Bro won the lotto twice.
My name is Scott. I'm a CEO of a company. Many of you guys follow me. I'm so dizzy right now. I'm shaking. I'm pouring vodka down my belly button. I'm about to drink this shot. I'm shaking a little bit. I'm dizzy. I'm nervous. I'm running wild in the morning at 7:30 in the morning like you guys. But what I do is I drink. No, I shouldn't. I'm calming down. I've been up for about 30 minutes shaking. This is my third shot. I'm going to drink this and I'm going to come back for a minute and show you after my third shot that I don't shake anymore. You shot. Okay. 7 minutes later. Right under 10 minutes later. My heart's slowing down under 90. It's my medicine. I don't take Aleve. I don't take Benadryl. I don't take that stuff. I'm dying. I'm sorry.
Don't give up. We believe in you.
1970, the criteria for high blood pressure was 160/90. That's when the doctor started talking to you about your high blood pressure and whether you should take medications. There was another method of knowing if you had high blood pressure, especially as you got older, was the systolic number had to be 100 plus your age. So if you were 70 years old, it was perfectly acceptable to have your blood pressure 170 over something. As long as it was lower than that, everything was A-okay. Then somehow about 30-ish years ago, when I was in school, the numbers changed to when you were supposed to give someone medication. We were taught in our school that when someone had high blood pressure that was 140/90, that's when you were to send them out to their primary care doctor and have them take medication. Well, then in 2017, something happened. And that is, a study came out that said people's blood pressure should be lower than 120/80. Now, that is a pretty lofty goal. That is very low, such that almost hardly anyone can pass that. When you go into a doctor's office in the middle of the day, you've already had stress. You're already stressed about being there. Maybe you've been waiting in the waiting room too long. You've probably had coffee or some type of food prior to that appointment. Then they rush you into the room, usually put the blood pressure cuff off over a number of clothing as you're dangling there, as they're asking questions. There's a whole host of reasons why your blood pressure is going to be above 120/80. If you are above 120/80 now, you're going to get a talking to. You're going to get a little spanking, little slap on the wrist. The doctor's going to talk to you. But if you're above 130/80, now that's the criteria for medication. Now let me know what your opinion is. Is this simply corporate greed from pharmaceutical companies to lower the margins so low that almost no one can pass, and thus every one of us should be on blood pressure medication? Or are the pharmaceutical companies so altruistic that they just want to help humanity that they've made the criteria such that they're really saving lives and preventing us from having a heart attack or stroke? Let me know what you think is the answer down in the comment section down below. Hypothetically, this may be true. No matter what our age, maybe all of our blood pressure should be below 120/80. There is probably a way to get your blood pressure to normal for you, but the million-dollar question is, what is normal blood pressure? What should our blood pressure be when we're 20 years old? What should our blood pressure be when we're 80 years old? And whatever your opinion is, there's probably research to support that. In fact, for many people that are elderly or old, it's interesting that now they're starting to say, or at least there's some research to support, that your blood pressure should be higher, that people that have low blood pressure because they're on so many medications are actually having less health and dying sooner than the people with higher blood pressure. So, go figure. But that's the history of what we've seen so far, just in my lifetime. Now, what were they doing 100 years ago in the 1920s with high blood pressure? Were people dropping dead like crazy because of high blood pressure? And now that we're getting everyone below 120/80, we're all living longer lives? Is that the reason why people are living longer now? Are they living longer? These are great questions to ask, and I'll leave it up to you to try to read between the lines. Now, having said this, high blood pressure is a risk factor for heart attacks and strokes. The higher your blood pressure as a younger person, the more likely that you're going to have problems in the future. So it behooves us to try to get our blood pressure to a normal for us. So if you want to become healthier and get a normal blood pressure for you, then I have a complete guide.
The medical profession should determine the benchmark, not the pharmaceutical corps.
He said, I've been looking all my life for the fountain of youth.
Me
and
too.
he said, the fountain of youth really does exist. And he said, and I've been searching for it. And he said, people think that you are what you eat. And he said, I'm here to tell you that you are what you drink. Ooh. He said, what you drink is the most important nutrient you put in your body. The quality of the water you drink is the most important thing you put in your body beyond all other things. Average brain is 90% water and average body 70%. Even our bones are about 65% water. He said that we all learn in school that water is H2O and that it freezes at 0 degrees centigrade at sea level and boils at 100 degrees centigrade at sea level, that it has a certain viscosity and so forth. He said, to tell you the truth, Patrick, he said water is different everywhere you go in the world. Water profoundly changes. Now, Dr. Coanda had developed the world's first snow-making machine. You know, to make snow, you know, so people could ski if it didn't snow in the winter. Dr. Coanda told me that a secret. He said that he had traveled to 5 places on Earth, Hunzaland, Peru, and a place in Mongolia where people lived to be over 100 while maintaining excellent health. And what he did is he made snow from their water. Take the leg of a snow crystal and you look at it under a microscope, you'll see that it contains a hollow tube all the way down the center. Even if that snow crystal is formed, you know, at 20 degrees or 30 degrees below zero, the snow crystal has a little bit of liquid water circulating through it. Like this, water circulates throughout the entire snow crystal. It actually circulates like it has a circulatory system. Snowflakes are alive. They're living beings, living entities. And he said that when a snow crystal is formed, it has a certain lifespan depending on the temperature. For example, he said a snow crystal formed at 20 degrees below zero. In Hunzaland, this water remains liquid for about 12 hours before it freezes. And so he said that snow crystal has a lifespan of 12 hours. If you take water from Chicago or Paris or New York or London or Madrid or wherever, and you freeze that, he said it might freeze in about 6 hours at the same temperature, 6 hours. So there's a big difference in the life of snow crystals, and he said it's due to molecular structure of the water itself. It has nothing to do with the minerals in it. I mean, the freezing temperature is depressed a little bit depending on what minerals and things are in it, but the life of the circulatory system is based on something else. He didn't know what it was that gave the snow crystal the life. He just knew what it was. And not only that, but he told me about certain anomalous physical properties of water. And he said he was turning all of his research over to me because he said, Patrick, someday you will build a machine or some way of making Hunza water available to everyone in the world. And I began my own quest for the Fountain of Youth when I was 17 years old. So I'm doing gymnastics one day in this gymnasium, and in walks this yogi, you know, in robes, you know, I mean, he was from India, and he said that he was sent to me. And I said, why? And he said, well, I'm sent to give you a mantra. And he said, as soon as I give you the mantra, I am returning to India. I said, okay, you know, fine, you know, I'm willing. Had a little room he ran in, and he took me to the room, and he gave me a mantra, and then he packed up his bags and went back to India again. And he told me how to resonate it in your body, and it's profound. And I'm going to tell you about the mantra because, and it's a simple mantra. Everyone has probably heard of it. The mantra was Hari Om Namom Shivaya. The way to do it, he says, is to resonate it throughout your body, and he told me how to pronounce it so that the resonance moved through my entire body, into my sinus cavities, and back through my body again. Hari Om Namom Shiva. Anyway, as you do it, you can actually feel the resonance move through your body, up into your sinuses, back down through your body again. And especially when it's resonating in your sinuses, he said that it resonates this membrane between your brain and the third and fourth ventricles of the brain, vibrating the spinal fluid, stimulating your pineal gland.
She lying. Hey, you know, Hansa people eat apricot, use apricot oil for cooking. Everything is around apricot, including the seeds. That's their secret.